Néillidh Mulligan, welcome to Easter 2020 Sinn Féin's online commemoration. This year we're all facing a battle against COVID-19, and as you know, we're having to do things differently. So this year we're bringing you our Easter commemoration online, and we're really grateful that so many people have joined in to watch. Today I want to start by extending the solidarity of the Sinn Féin leadership to all the families of our patriot dead. Easter is a very special time for us as Republicans, and today we remember the sacrifices of the men and women of 1916 and every generation since who have played their part in the cause for Irish freedom. Today we're going to be joined by singers, by musicians, and we're so grateful to you all for being part of our commemoration. We really hope that you enjoy our commemoration today. Thank you for tuning in.
Poblach na hÉireann, the Provisional Government of the Irish Republic to the people of Ireland.
Irish men and Irish women, in the name of God and of the dead generations from which she receives her old tradition of nationhood. Ireland, through us, summons her children to her flag and strikes for her freedom.
Having organised and trained her manhood through our secret revolutionary organisation, the Irish Republican Brotherhood, and through our open military organisations, the Irish Volunteers and the Irish Citizen Army.
Having patiently perfected her discipline, having resolutely waited for the right moment to reveal itself, she now seizes that moment.
And supported by her exiled children in America and by gallant allies in Europe, but relying in the first on her own strength, she strikes in full confidence of victory.
We declare the right to the people of Ireland to the ownership of Ireland and to the unfettered control of Irish destinies to be sovereign and indefeasible.
The long usurpation of that right by a foreign people and government has not extinguished the right, nor can it ever be extinguished, except by the destruction of the Irish people.
In every generation, the Irish people have asserted their right to national freedom and sovereignty. 6 times during the past 300 years, they have asserted it in arms.
Standing on that fundamental right, and again asserting it in arms in the face of the world, we hereby proclaim the Irish Republic as a sovereign, independent state, and we pledge our lives and the lives of our comrades in arms to the cause of its freedom, of its welfare, and of its exaltation among the nations.
The Irish Republic is entitled to and hereby claims the allegiance of every Irish man and every Irish woman.
The Republic guarantees civil and religious liberty, equal rights and equal opportunities to all its citizens.
And declares its resolve to pursue the happiness and prosperity of the whole nation and of all its parts.
Cherishing all the children of the nation equally and oblivious of the differences carefully fostered by an alien government which have divided a minority from the majority in the past.
Until our arms have brought the opportune moment for the establishment of a permanent national government, representative of the whole people of Ireland and elected by the suffrages of all her men and women, the provisional government hereby constituted will administer the civil and military affairs of the Republic in trust for all the people.
We place the cause of the Irish Republic under the protection of the Most High God, whose blessing we invoke upon our arms, and we pray that no one who serves that cause will dishonour it by cowardness, inhumanity or rapine.
In this supreme hour, the Irish nation must by its valour and discipline, and with the readiness of its children to sacrifice themselves for the common good, prove itself worthy of the august destiny to which it is called.
In Dublin town, one Easter morn, 100 years ago, the rebels led a rising from the city's GPO. Brave heroes and their enemies found civilians in between, and among the dead and fallen were the children of 16. Those children of the tenement slums who daily with their pals a brazen wild brigade sprang up between the two canals, with their handcarts over cobblestone they rattled, skid and tore, barefooted as they scavenged through the crossfire and the gore. A war zone of the capital, the bombs and shelling laid, and snipers' bullets pierced and whipped the sulphur-day brocades. There was fighting from the Union to the mill above the green, and it made a great excitement for the children of 16.
Iniu cuimhníimiid ar na mnágus na fear a búil ar san saoirse na hÉireann in 1960, agus siúd ó gach lúna sin amach a bhfuil buinseach leis an stracail den nás spláchas na hÉireann, deir aontaithe agus phoblacht Uileann. Today we remember all those who stood for Ireland's freedom in 1916, and those from every generation since who have struggled for Irish independence, for Irish unity and an All-Ireland Republic. Bhfuilm bannachtaí a gabháil inniu de na teamhlaí agus na cóide dóir tíorgrá marav. I especially want to send greetings today to the families and friends of our patriot dead. This year, we remember them in a different way, but with the same sense of pride and gratitude and admiration. We gather together online, all over Ireland and across the world, to pay tribute to them all. Táimid fear bhuaich díobhse go léir. 104 years ago, history was made. Irish separatists, Republicans, socialists, feminists and Irish language activists coalesced in a great revolutionary effort to liberate Ireland, to establish a democratic republic on this island. The Republican vision of national independence and equality were reflected in the Proclamation of the Republic, read by Pádraig McPeirish outside Dublin's General Post Office. Those ideals motivated each subsequent generation of Irish Republicans, and we are proud to stand in that revolutionary tradition, and we are determined to achieve those noble aims. The Easter Rising was followed by the execution of our leaders, the imprisonment of activists, the Sinn Féin election victory of 1918, and the establishment of the revolutionary Dáil Éireann in 1919. The Irish people had rallied to the cause of the Irish Republic. The British government refused to recognise the democratic will of the Irish people and instead embarked on a war of oppression. 1920 was a year of heroism in Ireland, but also of suffering and tragedy. It saw the introduction to Ireland of Britain's Black and Tans and auxiliaries. It witnessed a series of spectacular actions by IRA flying columns. It was also marked by the deaths of Tomás McCurtain, Terence McSweeney, Kevin Barry, and of Bloody Sunday in Croke Park in Dublin. The war waged by the IRA throughout 1920, supported by ordinary people across this country, became an inspiration for future freedom fighters all around the world. And despite attempts at revisionism by the political establishment, Irish people remember our struggle proudly and unapologetically. 1920 tragically closed with Britain's Government of Ireland Act, which provided for the partition of our country. When partition happened, the northern state became a byword for discrimination, injustice and denial of rights. The repression and brutality meted out by the unjust apartheid unionist state against anyone who dared challenge it was laid bare for the world to see as the state attempted to beat and brutalise the civil rights movement. They failed. Long years of conflict and loss followed. They were brought to a conclusion through the recognition of the causes of conflict and the ending of the politics of exclusion. Real leadership gave us the Good Friday Agreement and a new democratic pathway more than 20 years ago. Those who fought and died for Irish freedom were ordinary people who demonstrated extraordinary levels of bravery, selflessness and determination. On the morning of the Easter Rising, many volunteers would have held their loved ones close, kissed their children, and in a quiet moment reflected on the enormity of the task ahead. This is the stuff of human heroism. It is this heroism that we call on again today. Every day, frontline workers, and our health workers in particular, leave the sanctuary of their homes, knowing that they will face trauma, sorrow and pain, knowing that they face the possibility of a coronavirus infection, and yet they still do it. They walk into that storm. They put themselves at risk to help others. It's often said that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting in spite of fear, defying fear. Our frontline workers are now proving this to be true, and our communities have responded to their leadership. Our people are living the meaning of Ní Neart go Cur le Chéile. There is no strength without unity. As we pull together, the values of our nation are seen in our cities, our towns and our villages. Generosity, decency and the belief in being a good neighbour. Our people look beyond concern for themselves to the safety and the well-being of others. I want to express my admiration and my thanks to everyone who takes time to check on the elderly and others at risk in our communities, because nobody is safe unless we are all safe. Every act of selflessness, no matter how small, helps in our fight against this virus. Every act of kindness brings us closer to the shore. We should never forget the lessons we have learned in these weeks. That unequal societies are vulnerable societies, economically as well as socially. That togetherness and solidarity is the answer. It makes our society stronger. That public services are the bedrock of a decent society. That those who really keep our economy and our society functioning are not the banks or the hedge funds, not the insurance industry or the vulture capitalists. No, it's the nurses and doctors, the lorry drivers and shop workers, farmers, ambulance drivers, paramedics, carers, Gardaí and many, many others. Many of these essential workers are disgracefully low paid. Many have only recently had to strike for better conditions. This pandemic underlines the common sense need to put the interests of workers and families first. This must be the case all of the time, not only in extraordinary times. The failure by successive governments to address the issues of housing and health over many years has made our fight against COVID-19 all the more difficult. Coronavirus thrives in overcrowded and unsuitable accommodation. It thrives where there is a lack of capacity in our health service. The refusal of successive governments to stand up to the banks and the insurance industry has resulted in disgusting profiteering, even during this crisis. After the last economic crash, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael forced the people to pick up the tab and bail out the banks. This must never happen again. A government of the people must ensure that the banks and the financial institutions play their part on the far side of this unprecedented crisis in bailing out our people. We must build a fair society which truly values all those who have stood in the way of danger in the Barna Boil for all of us. The COVID-19 crisis highlights yet again the negative impact of partition on our island. In the north, Sinn Féin ministers are delivering for the community. We worked hard to see the establishment of an executive in the north, and our ministers are now to the fore in creating new politics, working with their ministerial colleagues from other parties to protect lives and livelihoods. I welcome the recent Memorandum of Understanding agreement between the Northern Executive and the Irish Government to tackle COVID-19 and to protect the lives and welfare of everyone on our island. This agreement commits health services north and south to developing agreed public health measures. This is essential work. This deadly virus doesn't recognise borders, and working together in common action is in everyone's interests and is vital now and in the time ahead to save lives. Sinn Féin is committed to this work. As we pull together in a great public effort to defeat this pandemic, we also urgently need a stable government to lead and deliver the change that is so badly needed. February's general election saw the greatest result for Sinn Féin since 1918. Now, people in each of Ireland's 32 counties are represented by a Sinn Féin TD or MP. Voters swept aside the old, tired and failed two-party system and reshaped the political landscape. For the first time, neither Fianna Fáil nor Fine Gael won the largest share of the popular vote, and for the first time ever, the combined forces of political conservatism failed to win a Dáil majority. Sinn Féin, advocating a vision of far-reaching political, economic and social change, made huge gains. So too did other parties who campaigned for change. Real, tangible change is what people have very clearly endorsed. Change that means being able to afford the roof over your head, that means being able to pay your rent, being able to see a doctor when you are sick, and an end to scandalous trolley counts and waiting lists. Change means childcare that doesn't break the bank. It means the guarantee of your right to a state pension at the age of 65. Change means responding to the climate emergency with climate justice. It means planning for a new Ireland, a united Ireland. That demand for change is now being frustrated and blocked. The latest chapter in the drama between Leo Varadkar and Micheál Martin is not about national unity, no more than the last 4 years of government were ever about new politics. This cosy club arrangement is not about delivering for the people. On the contrary, it's about facing down the change mandated by the people. It's about power. Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael have passed power between themselves for decades and have governed in the interests of those at the top. They are determined to keep it that way. Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil are coming together not out of a sense of public duty. They have come together to keep Sinn Féin out. They tried to hoodwink the public into believing that they're going to implement our policies, but you know they can't be trusted. Their objective of keeping us out of government, rather than accepting the scale of change Ireland now needs, is cynical and dishonest, and they know it. It's particularly so at a time of national emergency. The politics of exclusion has never worked on this island. Attempts to exclude Sinn Féin have always failed. Attempts to disenfranchise our voters have always failed. As Republicans, we will not be deterred. We will stand up for workers and for families. We will rally people for the change that is needed, and we will never give up. For Sinn Féin, 1916 is unfinished business. Our central political aim is to deliver the type of Ireland envisaged at Easter week. And I know that so many people support Sinn Féin and rely on us to be the party that builds a fair economy, that builds social justice and a new united Ireland. Working together and with the support of the people, we will get there. We will never let you down. So this Easter, let's pledge that together we will continue that path pursued by those we honour today, that we are the generation to write the next chapter of our history. A new Ireland, an equal Ireland, a united Ireland. We're living through a very difficult time. We've had difficult times in our history and we came through them together. We will get through this pandemic together, and we will build that better Ireland envisaged by our heroes of Easter week. So Uileann le Chéile, an Phoblacht de Boo, and my friends, a very happy Easter.
Sin aligra fuala tafia legerin bwindar su harti and radnik huin flavors vesi shanti hoshin shefosta Nia for fin tira na fin trial Anak da him savarna voil Ligan argil hom bosh no sel Ligan a squeal Fue la wana bile